Well, welcome everybody to our Cooking with Chef Mike on our cook along sponsored by SourcePoint. We are very excited to see our chefs and see you guys cooking along with them tonight as we make the heirloom tomato on watermelon salad and spicy roasted summer squash. So gentlemen, I will mute myself and let you guys take it away.
All right. Mike.
All right, well, that's very nice of you to introduce us. We appreciate it. This is our second virtual class with the cancer support community. We really appreciate your participation as well as continuing to work with us. My hope is that maybe here soon we might be able to get back to in-person classes, but hopefully that is not too far away in the recent future. So tonight's class is really meant to show you two recipes that should be really good for the summertime. They're healthy, they're quick, they're easy. They also can be good accompaniments with other meals, or you could bulk these up by using a little bit of protein or starch if you wanted to add a little bit more to that. But the way we think that we would like to go in order of operations so that all the food can be prepared in a timely manner is this. We're going to start by making the oil or an infused oil for the salad. We'll do that first. We'll let that oil cool. Then we're going to go into making the squash by just cutting it and letting it be salted and let it sit for a minute to let some of the moisture come out of the squash. Then we're going to finish the rest of the squash dish by making the sauce or the glaze. We'll put the squash into the oven, and then we'll come back to the watermelon salad, finish cutting and preparing that, and then put everything together at the very end. So a little bit of back and forth in the beginning, just because we know some things need to be done ahead of time, but for the most part, we hope we go at a decent speed. But if you have cut some of your products already, that's awesome. If you had, Chef Mike and I are going to kind of work through that as we go through this cooking class. By making the oil and getting the squash ready, I'll kind of move the computer around so you can see it a little bit better, and then we'll come back to me and help finish up some of the other things. So Chef Mike, let's get started.
All right. So get out your spices. There's a little container of spices. There's some turmeric in there, some cumin, some coriander, some salt and pepper. Get that out and get out a little omelet pan. We're going to make the oil, okay? So think of this like we are going to make kind of like a salad dressing, but we don't need a lot of vinegar to make a vinaigrette because the water content in the watermelon will leach from the salt being added to it and create kind of like a simple syrup effect. But what we do need is add some extra flavor to it with the spices. So I'm going to turn on this omelet pan to a medium heat and add my oil. So extra virgin olive oil right in the pan. And that was a 1/4 cup. And as that's warming up, I'm going to add the spices. A lot of times when you're using spices, it helps to boost their flavor by sauteing them or charring them a little bit or toasting them, just to kind of heat them up and release their natural oils to give them a little bit more flavor. So I'm going to whisk that in.
And Chef Mike and I will try to speak up. Our hood just came on. So our hood comes on when it notices a little bit of heat there. So we'll try to speak up, but let us know if you can't hear us.
So I just want to see in this pan some small bubbles. I just want it to come to like a little bit of a simmer effect. And it's going to be very hard to gauge this because, of course, this is not water. This is just olive oil. So I'm just going to kind of watch for a little bit of steam, and I want to be able to smell the spices very clearly. And then I'm going to remove it from heat. Okay.
Yeah, we like to use, in the culinary world, we like to use infused oils because infused oils are a good way to put some different flavors to a dish, as well as it will actually give a little bit of color to the oil. So they call these finishing oils. So you might finish a dish And at the very end, put a little bit of this oil on the plate to give it some color or maybe a little bit of aromatic.
Yes. So we're starting to come up to a simmer here. We can kind of see the effect. The oil's kind of frying the spices a little bit.
Now we know turmeric's really good for you, right?
It's really good for you, anti-inflammatory, great for your heart, great for your blood. So turmeric's one of those spices that if you want to make a spice blend, add a little bit of turmeric in there. It has great flavor, it has great color, and it's really, really good for you. So just a teaspoon of turmeric in anything is a good idea. Okay.
Hey, Mike.
Yo.
Those measured little cups, I didn't have to measure them. I just dumped them. I'm assuming those are already measured.
That's correct. Everything is pre-measured for you. So go ahead and when we bring up an ingredient, you'll know that you don't have to measure it out again. Just add things to the pots and pans, and we can do this really.
That helps a lot. It's
Yeah.
measuring. I mean, it's just like, okay, a teaspoon here and a teaspoon there. At least you have it all mixed up together.
That's
and
correct.
there's the oil.
Nice thing about doing stuff like this and using recipes like this is that most of you guys probably have a spice rack at home that you don't use very much, and it's nice to get it out and put it to use and create some flavors out of what you already have at home. You don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money on different spices and stuff. All of this stuff is in your spice rack already, I'm sure. So. All right, so this is warmed up.
I was going to ask Lori a question about the turmeric. I know that we have talked before in other cooking classes, but for the what's the turmeric have the coumarin?
Curcumin. Well, the curcuminoids is what has been most of the research is around that cancer prevention. And so, like they said, at really, really good choice to throw in wherever you can. A lot of people supplement it, but cooking with it is where the real research is for the most positive outcomes.
And do you have to add black pepper to that for that to be absorbed?
Some of the supplements create that combination for you with the black pepper extract. There is a little bit of research that says it looks like it's better absorbed when they're in combination. So yeah, I think it's fine to, well, let's see. Did our ingredients have black pepper? Let me see.
Yeah, I had peppercorn.
Yes, crushed peppercorns, perfect. It's a good combo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's go ahead and prepare our squash. So we sent you guys home with a zucchini and a summer squash. And what we're gonna do is split these. I've already removed the stem end and the root end of both. I guess there isn't really a root end on these, but the stem end and the base of the squash, I cut that off. And now I'm going to cut it in half lengthwise. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to score. So just make shallow cuts. Try to keep them pretty even in the cut side of the squash. And I'm just doing kind of a cross-hatch pattern. And what this is going to do, and you can kind of see, if you can see or not, I'm trying to use the camera here. Just make little X's. And what this is going to do is allow the salt to seep down into the flesh of the squash and help to leach some of that water out of the vegetable. And what we're going to try to do by leaching some of that water is give it a little bit of crispiness and allow it to caramelize a little bit. So the natural sugars in the squash are going to caramelize a little bit better if some of that water is not present during the cooking process. If there's too much water in the squash, a lot of times what will happen is it will just kind of steam itself in the oven and you don't get a great roast effect. Okay.
I think it compromises flavor, personally.
Yes, it does add a lot of flavor.
Good.
Hey, Mike, You didn't score the one with the skin?
What's
You
that?
didn't score the
I
skin
did
side?
not score the skin side, just the cut side.
Uh-oh, I did the reverse.
Well, that's okay. That's all right. It's not gonna hurt it. Don't worry about it. Just flip it over and score the other side real quick. And then I've just got some kosher salt here. And I'm going to just kind of lightly season it. Not too much. That was maybe 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. If you have sea salt, that'll work as well. We have this.
Yep, you sprinkle a little bit of that.
Okay, a little bit of coriander seed on there as well. And what I'll do is with my finger, I'll just kind of like spread this out. And kind of work it in a little bit, okay? And then this just gets set aside now for about 10 minutes. And we're going to allow that water to kind of leach out. And while that's happening, Mike's going to take over and prepare the glaze for the squash, and then show you how to cut up the watermelon and the tomato to make the salad, okay? So why don't you guys get out the ingredients for the glaze for the roasted summer squash.
So Mike, was there coriander seed in the ingredients?
No, there wasn't, but if you had a little bit of spice, you could put it on there.
Okay.
There's going to be so much flavor in this glaze that you don't necessarily have to have. The direction does say to sprinkle a little bit, but if you just want to use salt, that's okay as well.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
So we've made our infused oil. We have our squash cut and seasoned with salt. And we're gonna, like Chef Mike said, we'll let that set aside for a minute and let some of the water be pulled out with the salt from the squash. And what that will do is we'll blot it dry with a paper towel in about 10 minutes, and we'll remove some of the moisture from the vegetable. That will help it roast a little bit better for us. Now, to make the glaze, we have a lot of really cool ingredients that you may or may not use at home. First is the hot bean paste. Now, this makes it spicy. So if you don't want to use this, if you feel like this is too spicy for you, you don't have to use this. But this is what will give the most flavor to the glaze. I'll be perfectly honest with you. This is hot bean paste. This is actually a Korean style hot bean paste called Gochichong. And this is very popular in Korean cooking. This is what they would use to make different kinds of kimchi, as well as sauces for pork and beef. But it is spicy. So maybe you want to use a little bit of it. Maybe you want to use all of it. But that is totally up to you. The other things that we're going to have in this glaze are going to be rice wine vinegar, some honey, some soy sauce, a lime, some little mini shallots, and some cilantro. Now we know cilantro is the plant to coriander, but in some countries, they actually call this coriander and the spice coriander. So, but here in the United States, we call this cilantro, but this is the plant, and then the seed produced by this is coriander. So we're kind of utilizing it in a couple different forms. I'm going to start by cutting my shallot first, as well as cutting up the cilantro, okay? So I'll angle this down. So I'm going to work on these little shallots first. A shallot like this small, you can act like almost like garlic. And you just want to cut off both ends, cut it in half, and peel it. But we're going to want to mince this up. I hadn't seen them this small in the grocery store for a while. They're little guys. They almost look like pearl onions. But they definitely smell like shallots.
They're really cute. I haven't seen them this small ever.
Yeah. Yeah, they were little guys. Maybe they'll be a little bit sweeter. I don't know, but
I bet they will.
this is kind of how I found them at the store. Now, since they're pretty small already after I cut and peeled, I'm just going to go right into kind of breaking these down and starting to mince them. This is going to go in our glaze, so we want to cut it pretty small. And we know shallots are more a cousin of garlic than they really are of onion. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, I think, with a shallot. You get a little bit of garlic flavor and some onion flavor. This is something I always have in my pantry at home or on the counter with my other onions and garlic is some shallots. They are pretty strong though. I'm starting to cry. Woo, yes, they are very strong.
Well, Mike, because I'm allergic to onion, I didn't put it.
She said she didn't do it. She's allergic. Okay, that's okay. Well, then you got the chance not to cry. Okay, I think that's pretty nice and finely cut up.
Irene, can you use garlic?
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
do that. Maybe that would sub in for these pretty well.
I think I think chives is garlic family, is it?
Chives. No, I think they're onion.
Oh,
I actually use fresh garlic. No?
maybe I'll add onion powder. I mean garlic powder.
Okay. That would work well, I think.
It looks like our chefs have momentarily left us, but they should be right back.
It's
These
well seasoned, with all these ingredients.
I agree. And these are making me cry big time. Woo! They're doozies.
Is there any tips to help with that reaction?
I have heard to have a cut lemon nearby, and I've also heard to just do it near your sink running water. So maybe I should move over to the sink. I'm just glad that it's been raining today so that I can breathe. That my allergies are way better today. So I can put up with a little bit of teary eyes, I think. I am making a huge mess. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I am done.
You're done?
Yeah.
All right.
Because it takes a while to chop everything.
Yes, it does. It does.
So I started like 3:30, I started chopping.
Oh, okay. Good thinking.
I mean, I can show you my
Let me see your
my
product.
my product. It is spicy. Had I known that chili sauce is spicy, I could have just put 1 tablespoon.
I know I did a big glob of it, but I like spicy, so we will see.
Yeah, I asked Angelica to come over so she can help me finish.
Okay, good. I'm putting it right in the pan. This will be super flavorful. I think it'll be delicious.
It is.
I'm gonna get mine going. So Anne, are you cooking?
No, I'm watching. I thought I'd do better to learn what you're doing first.
Right? I get it. So we,
Well, and I always have trouble keeping up.
well, I'm
But I'm-
just now and I see why. You know,
I'm taking a lot of notes. If you notice my head going back and forth, it's because I'm writing notes.
okay, that's good. Okay.
So our Chef Mike and Chef Mike should be back momentarily. They're I just called them and they're working on getting back on.
Okay. You just never know with this technology how things are going to go. I guess we could talk a little bit about nutrition in the meantime. All of these ingredients, I think it's just awesome. We've got zucchini, yellow squash, watermelon, tomato, the fresh lime, plus all of these lovely spices mixed together. And
Can you see mine?
oh yes, I do. That looks great.
That's my
Yeah.
my phone. So I'll try to film it
We're
on
back
my
on the cell phone.
I wonder how I can use the here.
There you go.
All right, I'll film it.
All right.
Um,
Okay, we're back. So I don't know where I left off, but I know I was chopping the shallots and I chopped the cilantro. But now I'm ready to start to put together the rest of the glaze. So over here are all my ingredients nearby. And I'm going to start by adding our wet ingredients to our little sauce pot. We're going to use a little bit of a stainless steel sauce pot. I'm going to put this over a medium-high heat. And then I'm going to go ahead and start to add my liquids. In this case, I'm going to add my vinegar, my soy sauce, my honey, all right. I'm going to add the hot bean paste. All right, give that a little bit of a mix. Now I can go ahead and add my shallot. We can let that cook in the liquid. Nice. That starts to smell really, really good. I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil, maybe like a tablespoon of olive oil to it. Leave a little bit of olive oil for the, we're going to brush on top of the zucchini before it goes into the oven. And I'm bring this sauce to a little bit of a simmer. The last thing we have are some is one fresh lime. I think the instructions tell you to add this a little bit after it comes to the simmer, but I think it's okay to add it right now. Just squeeze the lime juice right into your sauce. I think this glaze would be good for all kinds of things. I really think it would be good on chicken. I think it would be good on other proteins, fish. It's nice that it's on a vegetable to give the vegetable a little bit of flavor today, but I really think this glaze can work on just about anything.
I agree. It smells amazing.
Yes, it does smell really, really good. Nice vinegar smell. Hot bean paste gives it a good smell. I'm going to put a little bit of the sesame seeds in there, but I'm going to leave some of the sesame seeds for when we finish the dish. And then the cilantro will be there for when we're done plating up. When we plate up, we're going to add cilantro at the very end. You don't really cook a lot with the cilantro. It's not something that I would put on, with like any major heat, because it'll just turn the cilantro brown. Really just kind of keep that for finishing, or you can put it in salsas, things of that nature that aren't really getting cooked.
So, Mike,
Yeah.
did you join the juice, the lime juice, shallot
Yes.
with the glaze, right? Am I seeing that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Well, I read it differently. So I have a separate little bowl for the juice, the lime juice, the
Okay.
cilantro, and salt. And then I I put it over my squash, and then I'm gonna and then I tossed it. Well, I spread the sesame seed over on top. Let me show you what I have. You didn't see it. You weren't there.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah. I see it. Okay, when that squash goes into the oven.
No, it's already done.
Oh, it looks good.
I'm done baking them.
You're done
I just have
baking.
to
All right.
dress it up. I just dress it up.
All right, I got you. All right, so now Mike is getting ready to put these in the oven, right, Mike?
Yes. So do we bake them before we brush them? I forget.
You brush them a little bit, and then they roast, and then you brush them a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. Looks like we brushed with oil and we brushed with glaze. Okay, so here's my squash. Like I said, I'm just gonna blot it dry a little bit with a paper towel. Just trying to remove any extra moisture that's on the surface of the squash. That's good. Then I'll
There's
take a little, that
there's
remaining- well,
There's a kick. There's a kick.
There's a little
Strong
kick. Yeah. It's sweet and spicy there.
little kick.
Nice brushing.
Very good brushing. All right, so then we do a little bit of glaze. Yeah, that smells good. We're gonna flip these over. I'll put a little bit more glaze on top. Perfect. All right, so my oven is already preheated to 400 degrees. And I'm gonna roast it cut side down for 5 minutes. Then I flip it over, put a little bit more glaze on there, roast it for another 5 minutes. So I'm gonna go in the oven. My oven's already preheated and ready to go. Use the top shelf of the oven. I think that will help give you a little bit more texture on the squash as opposed to putting it in the bottom part of the oven. I'm going to clean up my area a little bit here and start cutting some watermelon. Okay. So everybody got a whole watermelon. Now, you might not need to eat all this today if you don't want to, but this is a really good time of year for watermelons. Most of the time, watermelons in the United States, they start coming our way from Georgia. And then as the summer progresses, they move up a little bit into the Carolinas, and then they'll actually get up into Kentucky. They get a little bit more, and then you can get the Ohio and Indiana versions of watermelon. So as the season progresses, you kind of move your way more up north to get the different seasonal regional watermelons. Late summer is when you'll start seeing the Ohio watermelons start to come even to Kroger, some of the big grocery stores, as they start to buy as much local produce as they can.
Here, hold this for a second. I gotta get the charger.
So we're gonna work with our watermelon here. our little watermelon. Looks like Lori's getting hers all ready to cut.
I had to wash her. There we go.
So, we're going to actually peel the watermelon. The recipe says you can do that. It also says you can cut it into little slices if you wanted to as well. But I'm going to actually peel the watermelon. I like to start by cutting off both ends. Then it can sit flat on the cutting board. Then I'll use my knife as my peeler. I'll kind of just work my way around watermelon, kind of using the curvature of the watermelon as my knife kind of works, from top to bottom.
Laura, I know that watermelon has, a lot of moisture in it. Does it also have like vitamin C or any of those other kind of fruit benefits?
It does. It has tons of electrolytes in the proper balance. I talk to people about that a lot. It has 100% of the RDI vitamin C too. But if you're craving melon or like either watermelon or cantaloupe, honeydew, you usually are battling dehydration to some degree. And if you listen, your body will kind of guide you to the things that are going to help with that. So good source of electrolytes for sure.
And I'm cutting in these to like a 1/2-inch square cube. There we go. I'm going to sneak a couple pieces.
Right. It looks like a nice one.
It is sweet.
Sneak a couple pieces. Oh yeah, that's nice and sweet. These were on sale, by the way, at Kroger, so get a good deal while you're there. And these little mini watermelons don't quite have the big old seeds in them, so you can pretty much eat it all the way. Eat the seeds and everything. Okay, so my watermelon's cut. Now I'm going to move to my tomato. And I'm going to take off any green I can on the top of the tomato with my finger. I already rinsed these really good. Now I'm going to try to cut these into a similar shape as the watermelon. So I'll just put it like so. It's nice to have a nice sharp knife. Cut it into 4s like that. Then try to get those little 1/2-inch cubes similar to the tomato. Or to the watermelon, sorry. I'm adding these to the bowl of the watermelon because I'm going to actually mix all these together. And of course, as the season moves on, we'll see more and more fresh tomatoes from your farmers markets or your own gardens. Probably be a really good dish to put together for 4th of July. If you're going to be doing a little barbecue at 4th of July, this might be a nice little salad to bring over to somebody's house.
What are the best farmers markets in Delaware County?
Well, I only know of the one, to tell you the truth, which is at the actual fairgrounds, the same place where they have the little brown jug. Every Saturday they do a farmers market there. That's the only one I know about so far, but I'm sure you get a little bit further out of town, you'll be able to find some nice tomatoes. So I got my watermelon and my tomatoes cut up into this bowl. I'm then going to add my feta cheese. We gave you about 4 ounces of feta. If you don't like feta and don't want to use it, I don't think you really have to if you don't want to. I'm also going to sprinkle a little bit of salt. A little bit of nice fresh sea salt on the watermelon tomato. Actually, you think it's going to be salty, but it actually will bring out a little bit of sweetness from the watermelon and the tomato.
I'm gonna mix those up nice together. That looks good. What do we want to put this on, Mike, before I add the oil?
I need to find something.
Here, how about this?
That looks good. Okay.
So I'm just gonna platter our salad up here. I might not get all of it on there because we made quite a bit with that watermelon. Something like that. Then I've got my oil here, and the oil
Spatula.
really has a nice look to it.
Might need to stir that oil up or just kind of help it out of the pan because it does get pretty thick with all the spices in it. And they tend to sit at the bottom.
Yeah,
So
they settle a little bit. There we go, nice little drizzle of that infused oil. I think that oil would probably go well with all kinds of dishes.
be great on fish.
Yeah, and it really has a nice color. If I was to show you a little bit on the plate there, got a nice yellow tint to it. I think another thing that might be nice with this salad is a little bit of fresh mint or basil. If you had one of those two fresh herbs that maybe you grow out into your garden, this would be a really nice accompaniment with some of that fresh herbs. Even some parsley would probably go really nice with that. So there we have it. That watermelon salad couldn't be any easier, and very approachable, and something I think that would be really good and different for the summertime. And if you were going to do that for a party or something along those lines, you know, you could have the tomatoes and the watermelon pre-cut in a bowl, and then whenever you get to wherever you're going, put in your cheese and then finish it with that oil right before you serve it. I would avoid trying to let it marinate in that oil for too long because then everything's going to start to look yellow. So just use that oil kind of more when you're ready to eat it as opposed to letting it sit and marinate.
Okay.
Nice. So I'm going to take a look at our squash, see where we're at with that. It's coming along nicely. I'm going to go ahead and flip it. Now, the reason why we started cut side down is because we can get a little bit more of a steaming effect going on when we cook it when cut side down. But now, for the last portion of cooking this, we want to do it cut side up and try to get a little bit of color on that squash. Now, I'm going to cheat a little bit and put, the direction doesn't say to do this, but I'm going to put my oven on broil. And I'm going to let the broiler finish the rest of the work on the squash. You can let it bake, cut side up, because we're using a pretty high heat here. But I think the broil might help us get a nice kind of a caramelized effect with the honey from the sauce on the squash. So get some of those sesame seeds. I like how we did the scoring, and it really has started to open up really nice. It kind of gives it a cool look to it. All right, I'm going to put that back into our oven and let that finish up. I'll get something.
Put it under the broiler. How long would you want to keep it under there?
No more than 2 or 3 minutes, I would think, on a broiler. Broiler heat is very intense, and ours here at the shop is a gas broiler, so it's like you'd cook a steak under there if you wanted to. So just be careful when you're using the broiler that you really keep an eye on it. And you know, this sauce does have some things that might burn kind of quickly. The spices and things in there would burn. So just be careful.
Yeah, you know, whenever I use the broiler at home, I'm always kind of right by the oven. It should be something that you're kind of using at the last minute. It's not one of those things you put it in there and you forget about it and walk away. I just kind of will take a peek. Sometimes you can even open your oven a little bit and you can look inside and you just keep an eye out on it, make sure that it's not burning or anything. But gas broilers are really nice because they can put a little bit of texture on your food and give you that little bit of high heat crispness without having to dirty up any other pans or not. If you had a little blowtorch, these are little blowtorches that you could buy. These are also kind of handy. You can get these at most major grocery stores. That's also something you could use to caramelize the top.
Yeah, that might be a little too dangerous for me in the kitchen. I don't think I trust myself with a blowtorch.
You'd be fine. You'd be fine.
Irene was showing off her finished dishes, and they looked wonderful. Lori showed us her salad as well, so we got some beautiful finished dishes there, gentlemen.
Yeah,
It does.
very nice.
So appetizing. And the squash smells really, really nice. Like, you know, when you think about squash, you don't get too excited. But this smells fantabulous, but I think it's the glaze for sure.
Do you see mine, darling?
I did, Irene. They both of them look beautiful.
They do.
Yeah.
They-
It looks yummy.
I almost forgot the feta. My goodness, my favorite. All right.
All right, so I think I'm gonna take my squash out.
Now,
There it is. Nice.
Color on there.
very.
Don't want to cook the squash too much or it'll get too soggy on you. And I'm gonna plate it cut side up here so we can see those nice little crosshatch that Chef Mike put on there. And then of course, we probably have a little bit of leftover glaze, whether it's in your pan from the oven or from the stove. Just putting a little bit more glaze on top of there, get some of those little nooks and crannies. And then I'm gonna finish this with some sesame seeds. Give us a little bit of nice texture to crunch into when we eat the squash. And then a little bit of the cilantro. So like I was saying, we think this would be really good if you wanted to have a nice vegetarian meal for the night and maybe make some hearty rice for that. That would be really good. Maybe some brown rice would be nice, give you a little bit extra vitamins in it.
Or, you know, just that and a piece of fish would
Yep.
be, this would be a great vegetable side dish for a protein.
Yeah, you could use also some other grains like maybe quinoa or couscous or something along those lines. Might be kind of fun with that dish. It's kind of a little bit of an Asian inspired, so you know, kind of sticking with that theme. But I really think even some nice shrimp with that.
Oh yeah, that'd be really good.
I love these flavors, you guys. I think they're awesome.
Good, thank you.
Is I know Lori, you were helping cooking along with us. Is anybody else?
We had Irene.
Irene, she blasted us. She was done before class started. Look
Well,
at she's got
Makes me, oh, can you see it?
we can.
Yeah.
Beautiful dishes there.
I'm having a hard time showing it.
I can see. I think it looks fabulous. You did a great job.
Thank you. I love cooking.
Me
So,
too.
we have a question. Will the glaze hold up on the grill?
Will the squash hold up on the grill?
The glaze.
Oh, yeah, but not for the whole cook time. So if you're gonna grill the squash, I would do everything the same way, except instead of glazing the squash before it goes on the grill, I would wait. And I would just glaze in the last 2 or 3 minutes on the grill. Again, just because it could burn if it sits on the grill too long. So, but yes, absolutely, you could grill it.
Perfect. Yeah, and Kevin says perfect. So thank you for that.
Sure.
My squash is not quite done yet, so I'm giving it a few more minutes. It looks good, but it's not quite
I
done.
was gonna say the rest of the dishes look absolutely colorful, and from what you're saying, they smell delicious. So I myself am looking forward to making this, and I definitely think I'm going to be making the heirloom tomato and watermelon salad for my family 4th of July party. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, they will love it.
A little bit of a try.
It's hot.
So does anybody have any questions for either Lori or Chef Mike or Chef Mike?
Oh, that's good. That squash is really good.
And this one was salad.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mangle it here. It's like caveman coming in.
Mhm.
Well, they look absolutely delicious. I'm planning to make them tomorrow. Today is not a good day to make a meal here at home because my husband's having a colonoscopy tomorrow. So this will be his reward for his good behavior after it's over.
Poor guy.
We wish him the best of luck.
Thank you. But this isn't the day to cook something new, though.
No,
No, just the smell, that would be kind of cruel.
I think so. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it tomorrow.
Well, and that's good. He can too, then. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very good.
Good.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Well, we really appreciate getting together with you again today. Now, we have one scheduled for next month, but maybe all goes well. Sooner or later, we'll be able to do these in person. But you know, we're booked throughout the rest of the year working with you guys. So we hope we can do this in person at some point. But for now, we'll take what we can get. But we really appreciate you coming to pick up these ingredients. We really appreciate you supporting not only us, but the cancer support community. And I'm just happy we've been able to keep working through this partnership over the last several years. And I know you have a great chef, Jason, there that also takes care of you as well. And you know, we hope that we hope to see you guys soon, and hopefully see you the next few months. Enjoy the rest of your June. Enjoy those crazy cicadas outside. Hear them from inside right now. They're so loud. But if no one has any other questions, we really appreciate it. Some of y'all took some information about our business. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to shoot us an email, and we'd love to answer anything that you might be doing, even if it's not related to these dishes. Maybe some other things at home. We'd love to help you out.
Thank you, Mike. These were outstanding. I appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you, everybody, and you know, keep us in the loop if anything comes up. And thanks again for thinking of us. And Chef Mike thanks you as well, as he's holding the camera.
Thanks, guys.
yes.
Sorry
thank
about
you.
that glitch.
Yeah, sorry about the
It's all good. It worked out. So thank you again, Chef Mike and Lori. And we greatly appreciate your creativity and your expertise and sharing
Okay,
those with
Lisa.
us. So we will look forward to next month.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Bye, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to your husband, Ian.
Thanks.